Hey, it's Noctis. Subscribe to Vincent Valentine EX Turk channel.
What's up, guys? You're King and I, Vincent Valentine EX Turk. You can already tell by my voice, I really don't want to do this, but I got to do this for my fanbase. I've got to do this for my YouTube fanbase. But I really don't feel like it. I'm really tired, filled up with anxiety and all this stuff, but pretty much I'm not going to do the yell because I'm not feeling really good right now. I'm feeling really tired and groggy, so I'm just going to say, welcome to the Final Fantasy Coliseum, biggest death battle, except since we have already done these two characters, this is called Round 2. Round 2 is pretty much where if there's any new information about the characters or any updated information or fans aren't happy, we get a redo of the two characters and make them fight like they did. So going back to their skills, we're going to be having Professor Hojo from Final Fantasy 7 versus Final Fantasy 15's Chief Scientist and Strategist of Niflheim Verstael Berthia. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Sorry if I butchered the last name. So, let's start. Since I just played episode Prompto, we're going to go ahead and start with Verstael in this one because I just beat episode Prompto, so I kind of got some fresh ideas of Verstael. Now, Verstael's powers would include just his regular magic, like he can use, because just like Idolus, you could use magic, but even then, he's not really as strong as Idolus in his human form, so let's just skip to when he has to transform. Hojo somehow beats him in his, base form, because he's not really strong in that one. So, he's fast. I'd say he's about average for fast. He's not that fast or physically strong in the human form. So let's skip to when Verstael has to go into his 8 form, which is I forget what it's called, but it's an 8 form. I forgot what it's called. Let me go look up here. If it'll let me look on it without clicking anything off, It's in my watch later playlist, but I actually got the forms right in here. You can tell I'm really tired. So, let's go down a little bit. Okay. But pretty much Verstael's powers, Verstael's powers is of transformation, most likely. He could... Now... Okay, it's Barbos. And then his last transformation is Immortalis. Pretty much their Magitech engine. So Verstael's powers are powers that make it so he could transfer his conscience and his Magitech things. So theoretically, he could actually take over Prompto, and he could even take over Ravis. At least one part of Ravis, because the rest of the part of Ravis is human. He transforms into that purple thing, but if he was still alive, he could probably jump into that, because he could pretty much transfer his Verstael's main abilities is he could transfer his consciousness to any of his Magitech. And so any of his good Magitech creations he has, he could pretty much jump his soul and consciousness to that thing, just like Barbaros and Immortalis. Now, once Barbaros gets destroyed, he could transfer his conscience to the last and the best piece of Magitech technology that's as big as 4 trains, known as Immortalis. Pretty much is made to be like a god. Pretty much in this form, he's even stronger than his Emperor Idolus in this form. So pretty much, yeah. He's even more powerful than his Emperor when he's in the form of Immortalis. Surprisingly, Prompto was able to beat him, but then, again, it's episode Prompto. That's supposed to happen. That's kind of a boss you need to have Noctis, Gladiolus, and Ignis, and everybody, and with Aranea to fight, and Core to fight Immortalis. Because Immortalis, that's why he's level 99 in the game. So, pretty much, I'd say the 2 strongest forms he would have is Barbaros and Immortalis. And Barbaros can actually use when you beat Barbaros down to his health, Barbaros could actually use Ifrit powers. He could actually turn himself into a copycat of Ifrit, meaning that he could use the Star Scourge. He's also someone who's linked to the Star Scourge alongside Idolus and Arden. So he's actually made a Magitech to be able to mimic Ifrit's powers. And if you know how hard Ifrit is, you would understand. So pretty much those are his two things that are new and updated. I'm only going to use new and updated stuff in this one because, well, it has to scrap all the old stuff. But I was right about in the last death battle. I was right about, Verstael being able to use Magitech the way he did, because in this one, in this continuity, he can actually transfer his consciousness to any MT. So, Professor Hojo, we already know he sticks Genova cells in him, and then, he becomes super powerful, even just in human form. So, Hojo can actually beat Verstael's human form by just injecting Genova cells through needles and syringes. So, just in his human form, Hojo could take down Verstael. Now, Verstael transform might be a problem for Hojo, but I think if Hojo were to transform like he did, I'd say that their speed and power would be equal. Now, if Verstael were to turn to Immortalis and was able to use his incineration beam, he'd pretty much incinerate every piece of Hojo to the point where Hojo can't even put himself into the life stream. Just like Verstael, Hojo has the power to also convert him. Hojo has the power to convert his life force and consciousness to the life stream. Pretty much could not control it, but be able to speak to you, because Sephiroth was the only one able to control the life stream. But nonetheless, I'd have to say that, in this death battle, Verstael would win because Immortalis is super strong. I mean, the only person in Final Fantasy VII, even with Hojo using his final form to constantly heal himself and put status ailments right on Verstael, it won't work with Immortalis. Immortalis is the perfect Magitech. Immortalis pretty much would be an equal match to Safer Sephiroth in terms of power. Like, Immortalis would be like Safer Sephiroth power. And Hojo's strong, with all his transformations. He's very powerful. He can give you bad status ailments, and as well as drain your health all the way down to 1 if you wanted to. But, if he's the power of... If Verstael is the power of Sephiroth's final transformation, the Safer Sephiroth, then that's 10 times power boost. So, I think this time Verstael would be the one who defeats Hojo, so Hojo would lose. Unfortunately, I love Final Fantasy VII a little bit more, but unfortunately, Hojo would lose this death battle based on the fact that Immortalis is the same base power as Safer Sephiroth. So may the crystal be with you. If you don't like the results, that's just how it is with the updates and stuff like that. And I'll try to do as much as I can. I just, I've been really tired, work, the gym, stressed out a lot, doing what I call adulting. So may the crystal be